Hello, how's everything going? Welcome back to another episode of House of Discovery. And you might notice that I changed the location because right now we don't have any shooting space back in the lab. So I just did this one at my home. And we know that the cameras are pretty much everywhere, and it's one of the digital devices that everyone just using every day. And many of the scenarios we are using our mobile phones, such as the one I'm recording right now is just my iPhone. But as a VR researcher, I did encounter a lot of different cameras every day, and many of them are very special. So I think you guys might heard like terms like VR film or panorama video, and you might be wondering how they are being made of. So today I was just going to take you through briefly two of the VR related cameras that I'm using every day, and I just have them here. So here they are, the 360 camera and the VR180 camera, and I'm going to talk about what they are, how they work, and what exactly they're going to produce. So I'm going to first start with the 360 camera. So as you can see, the 360 camera comes in this configuration that has two fisheye lenses on the both ends, and then those two fisheye lenses are both capture 180 degree of the field of view, and then because they are on the both sides, when stitched together, they capture 360 degrees of the environment around them. That's how the name come by, and this is how it's 360 camera be unique compared to other things, because they capture the entire scene around them. It's not like this rectangular frame of the regular 2D video. It has no frame, it captures everything. So you might heard of like some companies that branding the 360 camera as action cameras, because they have several reasons. First is if you're using 360, things it captures everything. There's no need to care about where the camera is pointing at, especially in those high-paced action scenario. You just keep shooting and rolling the camera. The other one is then you can reframe it and you can make many super effects, make it attractive on social media later, because you have 360 degrees of material all around you. And the third reason, those manufacturers or the brands, they won't tell you about it because they think not everyone has a VR headset. So to produce a VR content, which requires other people to view them in VR headset, it might be too much friction during the user experience, so they just abandon it. But as a researcher who like myself, I mainly using 360 camera to capture immersive videos for immersive storytelling, and those videos will require a VR headset to view if you want to have the best effective. The reason I want to use it is that because you think about when you're sitting on a chair watching a 360 video using a VR headset, you have a free rotation of your head to look around, and that is mimicking how when the video is being produced, you think about the camera is placed in the scene and it captures everything around it, and then when you are watching the video, you are taking the camera's place. You are as if you're just sitting over there in the scene and you have the freedom to look around. So this gives you the very high level of presence, as if you are just being there in the environment with the storyteller. And that high level immersive of social existence, like being socially acknowledged, and then the presence and the feel of you are just being there in the scene when the story is happening, is something a regular 2D video or going to the film cinema cannot give you. And that's how I think the unique, or say magical power of a 360 camera it is. So I keep using that for my research almost every day. But does it have a problem? Yes, it is, because it's still a camera. What it captures is actually still a flat video. So even you can look around as everything around you, but it cannot perceive depth. So it's everything, the picture is flat. So that's I think one of the shortcomings of 360 videos, because you can see everything, but you cannot tell the distance, and it's somehow a shot back. But is it solvable? Yes, it is, or somehow I think it is, and that points to the second camera we're going to talk about. So the second camera we're going to talk about is the VR180. So VR180 camera came a little bit after the 360 video cameras, because people notice even in this 360 they don't perceived depth, and then everything captured by the camera feels a little bit flat. And then they came out with the VR180 camera. So the one I have right now, the Lenovo Mirage, and you might already notice this one compared to 360 is quite a bit different, because this shape, rectangular shape, and has two lenses on the front as if eyes looking forward, and it exists for a reason. And it's the reason they call VR180. So VR180 means the camera captures only 180 degrees of the field of view, and of course that because it's only got two lenses and both of them are pointing forward, there's nothing on the back side of it. But why it's 180, why the two lenses, and why they are being configured similar to human eyes, because there's a reason for that. So let's just deviate a little bit into talk about how human eye, the eyes we have, perceive the image. So the first concept is called the retinal disparity. If you look at the image here, because when we look to the things in the real world, our eyes, the left eye and the right one, actually captures the actual image with a little bit different, because the eyes are located at a different place on our head, or physically they have a distance called IPD. Regularly among human, it's I think 67 or 68 centimeters, and because of that disparity, the image has a little bit difference. And then when your brain receives both the visual signal, which is the two images coming from your eyes, and then the brain gonna perceive it and then fuse that two images together and then generate what is called a stereoscopic vision. That is how you see things in real world, and because of that you can tell something are closer to you and something are further to you. And that is the central piece of idea how VR180 camera captures depth cue. So the camera does not actually capture depth, but the camera uses how human eye works to generate the cue of depth. That is, when it's walking, these two lenses, just like human eye, they're gonna have their own, well, maybe CCD disparity, or they don't have retina, CCD disparity. And then those two images just has the same disparity how your human two eyes capture the real world. And then when you view the footage coming out of this camera by using a VR headset, the image displayed to your left eye, right eye are just the two images captured from the two lenses. And because the disparity of these two lenses and the human eye are the same, so your brain is going to just perceive the signals and generate them as if you're looking into the real world. So the image will fuse into a depth-like scenario, and then you will feel like from the image being captured from this camera, you can tell something closer to you, something further to you. Even the camera actually does not know the depth, but your brain generates that sense of depth, and just very, very similar to your real life. And that's why the image coming out or video coming out of a VR180 camera has a very realistic sense of depth. But the drawback is that it cannot capture what's on the back. So when you're viewing the image or footage coming out of this camera, you can only see 180 degrees and there's nothing on the back. So it's always a trade-off. So generally, there are the two cameras, and they have one of each other have their own advantage, I think. But which one's better? I don't think there's an answer to that, because I think both of them have different user scenarios. The one is like the 360, I believe it's better to capture everything. If you want to generate a recording of the environment or the scenario you are in there, and the 360 is the good option. But if you want to capture a scene to generate the feeling, like the first person feeling, I was there, I will look at the scene, how the scene visually feel like to my eyes, then the VR180 can very good record that feeling. So it has less freedom, but it has better sense of existence or presence because of the extra layer of depth cue. So I think both of them have their own advantage. And personally, I am not one who in favor of a one camera which can do everything. Those, we call them Swiss knife products. I don't like them, because if one product want to do everything, sometime or most of the time they're gonna turn out actually to be bad. Well, recently Insta360 just came up with a camera, they call it Insta360 One R, which has a modular design, want to do everything. I haven't got the hands on all one of them, but I think, well, my personal thinking is if one camera try to be good at everything, it might turn out not that good at everything. So we will see. And thanks for watching for today, and until next one, see you next time.